everyone. Welcome to another Data Vault Q&A brought to you by Iris, the best automation for your lakehouse. I am joined again by Nols Ebersohn. Hi, Nols.
Hi, Julian.
All right, I have another question for you today.
I hope I can answer it.
Oh, I'm sure you can. In fact, I know you can. I know this is one of your specialties. So what belongs in Raw Vault versus Business Vault?
Oh, a favorite question. Absolutely favorite question. What belongs to Raw Vault is everything you can reconcile to a source system. In other words, you've received it and you need to reliably and consistently represent that in a Raw Vault. So if there is something you can reconcile to an authoritative source of the data, then it's Raw Vault. Invariably, when we start addressing our technical debt, integration, quality, missing functionality, what we typically then try to smash into an information mart in a traditional way, we say, no, that derived data, that data that does not exist in any source system at all, we give those data sets a home in Business Vault, still integrated by the hubs links and links that exist within the Data Vault. And so I like to use this example. You may have a child protective services department, yes?
Yep.
That's your source system. The only reason or the only thing that we know about it is the actual data, where they go, where the orphans go and lay their heads on their pillow. That's the orphanage. That's where they come to rest. And so the derived data from the business rules put their weary heads in Business Vault. We can't reconcile them to source. We don't know who the parents are, right? And so from that perspective, there is no source system. It's derived data. And that derived data, the data is the only thing we can bring along. And so we grab that data, we integrate it back into the broader Data Vault. So now you have derived and raw data sitting side by side. And now you can actually have a complete picture of this is what we need to expose to the business. So Business Vault is, there is no source to reconcile to. Raw Vault, there is a source to reconcile
to. So I've always thought about it, tell me if I'm wrong, I always thought about it as essentially the data from source goes into Raw Vault. And if you are using Raw Vault as your source to then apply some sort of calculation to, then that is Business Vault. Because
that's true, except that you can also have other Business Vault elements contribute to yet another calculation, which is just expanding on the Business Vault. And so simply saying that as long as it's using what we could probably say, as long as we use the Data Vault as the input for the calculation, it's a Business Vault artifact. Okay, that's fair.
Well, that probably answered my follow-up question, because I was going to say, what if you sourced multiple pieces of data from Raw Vault tables, but you brought in one external, maybe it's a reference table from an external website or something like that. Is that then a Business Vault table or a Raw Vault table?
The result is still a derived product.
Yep.
So the input may have had additional inputs. It's a classic example of, say, a machine learning algorithm. You may take industry data straight from industry, and you take your operational data from your source, you combine these two, you put it through some very sophisticated algorithms, and it spits out a propensity to churn, a fraud score, all sorts of things at the end.
Yeah.
There is nothing you can reconcile. It's an algorithm that took inputs and spat out a whole new thing.
Yeah.
And so since it is dependent on the Data Vault, Raw and Business Vault combined, the Data Vault, you could argue it's still a Business Vault artifact. Now, if you had a system that did all of this stuff without any dependency on the Data Vault at all, it's a source system.
Yeah, yeah.
And so it falls back into that Raw Vault definition. And so we can have all sorts of permutations.
A little bit of gray area, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But typically, if you do that, there will be a system that you can draw information from and reconcile to.
Yeah.
So that reconciliation question just helps to sort of clarify some of those items.
Because there's probably a way to view it where that machine learning algorithm potentially is drawing data from the vault, but because it's doing other things, you could consider that was its own source, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So it becomes a source system. Like all source systems take data from all sorts of places.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so as long as it's reconcilable, as long as there's something persisted in that machine learning repository that you can then reconcile to, raw vault's your friend.
Yeah, that makes sense.
If there is no repository to reconcile to, business vault is your friend.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. All right. Well, what a rabbit hole. I thought that was going to be super easy, but it was a little bit longer than normal. But thank you again for sharing your knowledge with our audience. Appreciate it.
It's a pleasure.
All right. We'll see you on the next one.
Have a great day.